You can also arrange the programs on your desktop, and from the taskbar down here, if you point at the taskbar and get to right click, so this is the taskbar, and if you right click, you can be able to either remove whatever is happening there, or you can also still drag. So for instance, I want the word to move from the farthest to be the first item I'm seeing, and you realize I can be able to arrange whatever windows that I'm having on my taskbar. So depending with how you or whatever you're doing, as you can see, I'm playing around with the items or the windows that are active on my taskbar. So for now, the best thing is just know how to pin and unpin, and you should be good to go. Like I said, most of how to multitask, I think it will make sense instead of talking theory. When we're doing Word document, we'll be able to see how can you see, for instance, two windows at the same time. You're doing a comparison and you want to view. It's still, for instance, like for me, I have this Excel, so this PDF, and I also have another PDF for chapter 3. And what if I want to see both of them or both of these windows concurrently or at the same time? So I think we'll be able to envision such a thing like what you're seeing here when we will be doing the Microsoft Word. Let's talk about how to customize the Windows or customize the Windows 10 desktop. And this is where you can personalize your desktop by displaying pictures, patterns, or even scan photograph as your wallpaper. So let's go to desktop. And when you minimize everything, this is what we mean by desktop, the area you're having here. So you can also determine what you want to display. You want pictures to run around, you want wallpapers, and so forth. So this is all about the background. You can also change the items on their icon, play around with the colors and appearance. But most of these things are now the things you sit down and experiment when you're alone. So it's a step-by-step process whereby all the steps are given. And of course, I'm not really that kind of a person. But if you have all the time in your hand and you want to decorate your desktop, then these are the steps you can experiment with. And I think, let me just give it as a fun for mostly the Form 4 leavers who are here or the beginners. Then today, instead of spending a lot of hours in those social media platforms, then try and see if you can be able to adjust or personalize your computer. That's just having a relationship. But just so you know, when a computer cannot execute a command without the user providing additional information. So what does that mean? You are the master here. So the computer will need to know exactly what is to be customized and you will decide, are you customizing the background, the screensaver, appearance, or settings? And if you right click while you're at the desktop, you'll see there's an option of personalize. There's also an option of displaying settings, graphics properties, and so forth. So like I said, play around with all these things. If you make a mistake, that's how you learn. So the details on how to set your background are there. So I don't want to necessarily focus more on that. And today I'll give you 30 minutes. So the next 30 minutes of this class, I want you to review this chapter 2 document and more so play around with setting up screensaver. So make sure you select at least something in your computer. And as I wind up, make sure things like themes, images, and so forth are not new. So what was the objective of today's session? We have looked into how to start a computer. We have already talked about properties of a window. You know what it means to work with many applications, more so what is in your taskbar. And where we are at the moment, I'm leaving you to customize the Windows 10 desktop. So you're making your Windows 10, sorry, you're making your desktop to look like your preference or whatever preference you'll be having. Let's talk about the last two items, and more so on time and date. And each time we save a file in our computer, Windows always records the date and time this was done. So it's more like a database. So it's a record of every process. And this is what we call date and timestamp. Why is this information useful? It's only useful in letting us know the most current version of a file, or even what to do to discard. So you save, for those who are doing, let's say, project, or there's a lot of reports that you're doing. So you're doing a lot of saving and editing of that same document. And at some point, things can get crazy that you might not even remember which one was the latest file that you have been working with. And based on the time that is set, you can be able to tell which one was the latest document that you saved. So it's a step-by-step process. If you go to the start button, setting. So this is the start button. We have setting. And the name. That's why we encourage you, if you're using Windows 7 at this stage or at this lifetime, you have to do something so that you catch up with the rest. So if you go to the setting, and you said you can get that by use of the start button. Go to settings, and now you will have an option of time and date. Make sure you save the right date and time, and you are guided by the screenshot that have been provided there. Again, make sure at least you know how to adjust date and time in your